Dr. David Goodstein. Dr. Goodstein is a condensed matter physicist. He is also professor of physics and ex-vice provost at Caltech. He has written a very illuminating and riveting book, Out of Gas, published in 2004. It was named one of the 10 most influential books of the year in 2005 by the New York Times. It is a very easy read. Its message touches each and every one of us. We're here to talk about that book today. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
You're a condensed matter physicist. Why don't you tell us about yourself? What does a condensed matter physicist do?
Well, a condensed matter physicist is interested in bulk matter, solids, liquids, gases, things like that.
So your background is in physics, but
Yes.
the book is much interdisciplinary, basically. How did you come to write this book? What was it, a message you wanted to get out?
Well, yes. I read about it in the newspaper one day, that a prediction that we were going to run out of oil in 2007. And I thought that was a prediction of worldwide catastrophe. In 6 years, I'd better look into it. So I looked into it, did some reading, and I wrote the book.
Okay, and in your opinion, given that we consume some 80 million barrels of oil a day, how much is there left us and how long will it last?
Well, nobody knows that. It may be that we've passed the peak. With oil, as with any natural resource, it starts from zero, builds up to a peak that's never gone over, and then declines forever. So the question is, when is the peak? Not when we're going to pump the last drop, but when does the peak occur? The peak may already have occurred, or it may occur in 10 or 20 years, I don't know. But something like that, it will occur.
This is the Hubbard's Peak that you talk about in
The Hubbard's
book, correct?
Peak, that's right.
And it's already occurred for the lower 48, hasn't
Oh,
it?
yes, it occurred in 1970 for the lower 48.
Mm-hmm. So do you think all the easy stuff is gone?
Well, all the easy stuff may very well be gone. If not, there's very little of it left.
And we know that there's some locked in sand in Canada and some shale in the western part of the United States. Do you think it's worth the technology to develop to extract this?
Well, when we run out of easy to mine or to take oil, we start pushing for more difficult oil. The oil sands of Alberta are one, the deep wells in the ocean are another, and so on. But that's a limited resource. It's not going to last very long.
It doesn't really put many more years on.
No.
Okay, well, let's talk about, from what I understand, the United States is kind of like the Saudi Arabia of coal, isn't it? We have like a quarter of the world's coal here?
We have a lot of coal, but the demand for coal is skyrocketing. And if we start to switch to coal instead of gasoline for the fuel cars, the coal won't last very long.
And it's even dirtier than gasoline, isn't it?
And it's dirty. It's very dirty.
Mm-hmm. What about, you mentioned methane hydrate in your book. Is this going to be a viable?
Nobody knows. Methane hydrate is a mysterious substance that's found under the oceans and deep water, and nobody knows whether it's going to be a useful fuel or not.
And natural gas, same thing, huh?
Natural gas will run out 10 or 20 years after the oil does.
In your opinion, if we do extract all the fossil fuels we can and we burn them until they're gone, will we be doing irreparable damage to our ecosystem?
We may very well do irreparable damage to the climate of the planet. I don't know. It certainly looks that way.
And do you think could we make it inhospitable for?
Yes, you could throw the planet into a completely different state, one that's not hospitable to life at all. And that's a possibility, and one that we'd rather not think about.
That's, you mentioned a best case and a worst case scenario. Do you think we're kind of like on a juggernaut to the worst case? It doesn't seem like much is being done to me.
Well, not much is being done, that's right. Very little is being done.
And I think we have a proposition on our current ballot about 23, is that Proposition 23, right?
Yes, yes.
That puts a halt to all kinds of emission controls, correct?
Yeah, but yes, that's right. And it should be defeated.
Yeah, I agree. So that's scary. It seems like in situations like this, in stressful times, all these kind of panaceas come out of the woodwork.
Yes.
And there's many of them you mentioned in your book. Carbon sequestration at the bottom of the ocean. The one that I really got a kick of was the parasol.
Yes.
Care to expound on these?
Well, the idea is to put a parasol at the L1 point, the Lagrange point, about a tenth of the distance between the Earth and the Sun, where a spacecraft could stay in orbit with the same period as the Earth. and it would look like a dark spot on the face of the sun and reduce the solar flux by 2%. And then we could burn fossil fuels to our heart's content without worrying about global warming. But it's a foolish idea.
Sounds very elaborate.
Yes, but it doesn't work.
And as far as the sequestration, you mentioned that there's life at the bottom of the ocean, and
yes, that's right. If we put the carbon dioxide at the bottom of the ocean, then it will foul the bottom of the ocean for all kinds of life that lives there. So it's not a solution after all.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that you talked about some myths in your book. Okay,
yes.
I really think the one that I think is very pervasive in our culture is that once we run out of fossil fuels, that the marketplace will take over. Can you explain why that's a fallacy?
Well, the marketplace will take over if there's something to substitute for fossil fuels, but there isn't anything to substitute for fossil fuels. There's nothing that has the kick that gasoline has. No, there is no substitute.
You get a really good bang for your buck for gasoline.
Yeah, you get quite a bang for your buck.
Its chemical energy has a lot.
Yes.
I can't believe like a gallon of it will move my car 20 miles up hills and stuff. It's pretty incredible.
That's right.
It's pretty, and also it's under the ground. It's out of our way. There's a lot of pretty good things about gasoline, and I guess there's a reason why we're all addicted to gasoline.
Yes, but we've used up half the gasoline that exists in the world in 150 years. It took the Earth hundreds of millions of years to make it, and we've used up half of it in 150 years, and so we're going to run out. We may have run out already. We may have 10 or 20 years left. I don't know, but we're going to run out, and when we run out, our civilization is going to go down the tubes. That's the long and the short of it.
Can you imagine a world without the products we get from oil?
No.
Just the reach is so far-reaching. It's incredible.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. What's it else? Do you think that we are developing alternative technologies fast enough?
No, we're certainly not developing alternative technologies fast enough. We talk about it. Everybody is bought into it by now that we need alternative technologies, but we're not developing them fast enough.
If we see, when I look at a pie chart, a current pie chart from the Department of Energy, it looks like a little sliver for wind, solar, and geothermal.
That's right, and very little, and not increasing fast enough.